Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. My name's Cal, and this is the match review for Cardiff versus the Stormers. And in what looked to be rather a almost kind of like what started to be almost a reparations game for the Stormers, leading 14-0 quite early on, turned into a bit of a horror show for them at the end, losing, or rather going down 31-24 to Cardiff, after being 24 all for a good, 14-ish minutes, and conceding 4 minutes into extra time. It's great news for Cardiff. They are, they've got their second win of the tournament, and they're back to winning ways, which is good. But piles on the misery for the Stormers. They're now 4 losses in 4 games, and they're desperate for their box to come back. I think at this point, almost to the same extent that the Sharks are, except the Sharks haven't got a single win rather than 2. And there was some very curious decision making in that, especially from the Stormers. 24 all, about 8 minutes to go, and they go for touch instead of a fairly straightforward shot at goal. I don't see the logic on that, and I think it's a fail of captaincy. But credit to Cardiff. I mean, the early injury to Harry Millard, and Hamer Webb came on and try scorer. I think apart from that one kick to touch, Tinas de Beer had a very good game. But deserved player of the match, Mason Grady, was brilliant for Cardiff the whole game, in a very stop-start kind of game. He was brilliant. I think Brock Harris actually had the better of Will Davies-King for most of his time in the scrum. That's for sure. And they certainly should have looked to make better use of that. I think as much as Warwick Gallant brought some pace to the game when he came on, he also couldn't keep the ball in his bloody hands, and practically knocked on off every single run of his. And I think the real nail in the coffin, which led to the final try to get Cardiff the win, was Herschel Yankees trying a dart, when it was just not on, and that cost them the ball. And then, Cardiff go down the other end of the field and score. So poor game management from the Stormers, especially when you're 14-0 up at one point, and looking fairly comfortable. It's good to see. I think Ngomazulu, Feinberg Ngomazulu had a good game, and so did Ruan Nel with his double. But there are just some play. Oh, and actually, Marcel Tinnerson also had a good game. Certainly in the first half, he was a bit quiet in the second. But standout players for Cardiff, definitely Tinas de Beer, Mason Grady. I'd say Cameron Winnett actually played very well. Certainly, I'd say he played better than Blommakeys and Gallant. And what I expected didn't happen. I expected the Stormers bench to be too much for Cardiff, but actually, Cardiff's bench was far more impressive coming onto the field. So Stormers will have to go and lick even more wounds, whereas Cardiff will, considering how bare bones they are at the moment, will go away from this very happy, especially considering the Stormers have been champions of this competition twice. I think they've won it twice. But good result for them. And who are the Stormers playing next weekend? I believe, I'm not even sure. I think they both have fairly difficult games next weekend. Let's have a look. Cardiff play Scarlet, so that's all right for them. And Stormers play Zebre, but Zebre are scoring a lot of tries recently, so that'll be a good game. And Stormers will have to certainly bring it to Zebre if they're going to match them in terms of the speed of their play. But decent game, bit stop-start, and Stormers will be gutted, but also it's their own fault. They were their kind of makers their own demise. But that's how rugby is sometimes, and looking forward to the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the videos, and check out our sponsors, BitDefender and BOYLESPORTS, and I will catch you next time for whichever game comes next for me. Cheers, guys.